Hi, welcome to my channel. And it's kind of hard to believe that 2026 is here and in full swing. I wanted to share the 26 books I have on my radar for 2026. I'm not super great with TBRs. I'm very much a mood reader and will read whatever I want to at that moment I'm feeling like reading. So it could be like jumping from a fantasy to literary fiction to romance or horror, thriller, whatever that feels like in the moment for me. But these are books that I've been wanting to read for some time or I want to read. And so hopefully this year, if I am in the mood, I will pick it up. And the order I'm going to go through them are books that are out that I don't own, then books that are out that I do own, and then books that are releasing this year. A lot of these things, books I don't know a lot about their plot, which is kind of how I like it. I like to go in not knowing too much, but knowing just enough to pull me in. This is an author that I absolutely love, Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I will read almost anything that she puts out. So I want to read her Little White Lies, which I think is like a debutante thriller. Seems really great, super interesting. Every time I go to the bookstore, it catches my eye. Then I want to read her book, Bad Blood, which is the fourth and last installment of her Natural series. I just finished All In, so I really want to get to this last book, and maybe I kind of don't want to get to the last book. I don't want it to be over, but I do want to get to it because the way that All In ended, you really, really have to get to that next one. Then I have Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. I read Promise Me Sunshine by her, and I absolutely enjoyed that book. Her books are more than just romances. They tend to have a really deep emotional plot to them. And I really, I like that when a book has more than just the one genre. So I'm super excited about that one. Then The Answer is No by Frederick Bachman. Everybody I see talks about Frederick Bachman, and I've never read any of his books, so I thought one of his smaller novellas would be a better place to start. I'm not entirely sure. So if you think there's a better book for me to start with, definitely leave that in the comments. I do want to get into his books. I just don't know where to start. Then I have Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I heard that this is like Hunger Games, but in space, which that's all I really need to know because I loved Hunger Games. And I've been really trying to get into more like fantasy. So that's all that it takes for me to add it to my wanting to read. Then I have Long Bright River by Liz Moore. And I've been really getting into thrillers, and I know this one has a TV show about it too. So I that's one reason I want to pick it up, but also because thrillers have been really catching my attention. Then I have Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wong. This one, I have heard that it's dark academia, fantasy, and those are things that I'm actually craving right now. So I actually kind of want to pick it up right this second, but I don't own it. So then I have The Will of the Many by James Islington. This one, every time I pick it up, it's like it's huge. But this year I do want to spend more time reading bigger books that I can spend more time in that world and understanding those characters. It's kind of a goal of mine, especially fantasy and sci-fi novels, because I don't normally pick up sci-fi too much. And I really want to push myself to get out of the books that I normally read, those genres, and go into other things. And I thought The Will of the Many could probably be one. Plus, I see that it has a lot of great reviews, and I really want to check it out and see what it's about. Then Children of Dune by Frank Herbert. I just finished. I just finished Dune Messiah not too long ago, and I'm definitely ready for the next book because it feels like they're getting crazier, and I'm interested to see how like it goes, especially after how Dune Messiah ended. Then I have Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. The movie, the latest adaptation of the book is coming out in, I think, February with Margot Robbie and I can't remember his name. It seems like it might be an interesting adaptation. I'm not quite sure, but I think I read this back in high school and it wasn't one of my favorites, but I can't remember much about it, so I thought I would pick it up again. Maybe I won't like it again. Now, for the books that are out that I do own, I've got Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. I really do enjoy her writing. I read Caraval and Legendary, the first two books of her Caraval series, and I really enjoyed those two. I just have to pick up the last one. Then I heard that this one is kind of a fantasy that takes place in our world. So I'm always interested in those because it's like, who doesn't want to fantasize real life? And when it's um an urban fantasy, or not even an urban fantasy, like a fantasy realism, I think that that's just really fun. Plus, this is a really nice addition that I ended up getting. I'm not a fan of the sprayed edges, but the cover, super gorgeous. The chained library. Then the ones at Barnes and Noble, I noticed have the front cover that says the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. And I went to that cemetery, so I was kind of hoping to get that one, but I ended up getting this one. Next, I have In Your Dreams by Sarah Adams. This is the fourth and the last book in her When in Rome series, which is kind of sad for me because I really enjoy this series. I feel like I can always relate to her characters in one way or another. Plus, she always mentions Audrey Hepburn, and she's one of my favorite actresses. This one follows the youngest sibling, Madison Walker, who has a life in New York and she wants to be a chef, but I think it's not going as she planned, and she ends up back in Rome, Kentucky, where her family is. Which, life sometimes happens like that. And I'm really excited because we got a little snippet of her life in the other books. So I'm happy to see where this takes us, but also sad to be finishing this world because it's one that I enjoyed living in. Then I have The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I read her Shepherd King duology, which is one of my favorite duologies. I absolutely loved One Dark Window. It pulled me out of a really deep reading slump, and it was so exciting. I loved the world building. I loved the characters. And so I'm super excited for this book. I kind of wanted to read it back in December, but I didn't end up getting to it. So I'm really excited to try to get to it this year. Plus, I've seen a lot of great things about it. I don't know too much about what's inside it in terms of content, but I kind of want to go into it blind because I went into One Dark Window a little blind, and I think that was the best option for me. Plus, look at this. It's so gorgeous. And this is gorgeous. Now I've got Silver Elite by Danny Francis. I also wanted to get to this one in December, but I didn't get to it because I spent more time reading other books like All In, and then I picked up a few Stephen King novels. But this one really did catch my attention because I've heard it's dystopian in fantasy, which already piques my attention. I love dystopian novels. I really loved them in high school, and I haven't been in it too much recently. I really loved like Divergent series and the Hunger Games series and Matched, and I would love to dive back into a dystopian novel. Plus, the back of this sounds really interesting. It says, "My name is Ren Darlington. I've been hiding who I am my entire life. Today will be no different." One sentence. That's all it takes. One sentence. I have heard so much about this author, and I've actually watched a few of his interviews. The next book I have on my list is by an author that's really caught my attention this last year. I started listening to his lecture series that's on YouTube, and it's Brandon Sanderson. I didn't know where to start in terms of like his huge backlog of books, but I thought this seemed like it might be the best place for me to start. I'm not quite sure. So if you guys have a better suggestion, that's fine. I would greatly appreciate it. But I did pick up Skyward, and it sounded really interesting to me. It says, Spensa's world has been under attack for decades. Now pilots are the heroes of what's left of the human race, and becoming one has always been Spensa's dream. Since she was a little girl, she has imagined soaring skyward and proving her bravery. But her fate is intertwined with her father's, a pilot himself who was killed years ago when he abruptly deserted his team, leaving Spensa, the daughter of a coward, her chances of attending flight school slim to none. I think that sounds so interesting. And this world seems really interesting too. Then I have Wild Revenants by Rebecca Ross. I have a few other Rebecca Ross books that I read and I got into before, and I do enjoy her writing. And I heard that this is a prequel to the Divine Rivals duology. So I'm excited about that. Plus, it looks so gorgeous with the flowers, and then the back has this sword. And I don't know too much about this right now, and I don't want to know. I saw a special edition at the bookstore, and I saw character art. So even that has really piqued my interest, made me excited about the book. Then I have Malice by John Gwynne. It says, Even the brave will fall. And I'm super excited about just trying to jump into these worlds that are really big and really thought out and planned out, because I really want to study that type of a thing right this second in my life. And I thought this would seem really interesting. It mentions four different people on the back. It says the world is broken and it can never be made whole again. This one I ended up picking up because I thought the sword was really cool. Now, for this next one, I saw this book and I thought it seemed really interesting. It's Snow Globe by So Young Park. It says Hunger Games meets Squid Games. When you're inside, the world is watching. In a frozen land ravaged by climate change, it says outside Snow Globe, every day is a struggle for survival, but inside, the war for ratings is even deadlier and no one is safe. It's a duology, I think, so it's not like a huge series. And I think I already have a lot of series that I'm in the middle of. Now, for this next one, I see so much about this author everywhere, and I've never picked up one of her books. So I thought this year might be the year. I have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I've heard that she's such a talented author. In the back says, 4 dates, a kiss, and a breakup. That's all it will take to find their soulmates. When it comes to love, Emma is cursed. Every guy she dates finds his true love after they break up. But it turns out she's not the only one afflicted with this condition. His name is Justin, and his Reddit thread about being love's good luck charm has gone viral. Now the two have come up with an ingenious plan. If they date each other, their curses will cancel out and they'll go on to find their soulmates. Only Justin wasn't supposed to be so unbelievably cute and hilarious. So two cursed in love department people who end up finding each other and possibly falling in love sounds really great. Plus there's like a really cute dog on the cover. And I'm a sucker for animals on covers. For this next one, I read one of her books this year and I fell in love with the writing style. It's so beautiful, so great. I had to pick up more of her books. I have two on my like huge TBR stack over here, but one that I for sure want to get through this year is Carrie Soto's Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think we get a little bit of a glimpse of Carrie Soto in Malibu Rising, which I did read this year. And I don't know if that's a spoiler. I don't think it is, really. But I'm excited to read about her story, Carrie Soto's story. And my cousin said that she loved this book. So I already know it's going to be amazing. And I cannot wait to read this. I might actually pick it up during the summer because the colors on the front cover are really giving summer. This next one was definitely more of an emotional buy for me because I am definitely devastated with the ending of Stranger Things. I did go see the finale in the theater and I feel so sad with it being over. So I had to pick this book up, and I hope to read it this year, maybe after I've recovered a little bit, though. Um, Stranger Things, One Way or Another. And this is a mystery that follows Robin and Nancy acting as detectives to kind of figure out this mystery. Already two of my favorite characters. I do think I'm going to end up waiting a little bit before I pick this up, and I'll probably pick it up like towards the end of the year, maybe after I've come to terms with how the show is over now. But I mean, the show's played such a huge role in my life as someone who went to film school and then becoming like obsessed with the filmmaking of Stranger Things and how amazing it is. So this one is definitely gonna be read this year. Then I have, and I always pick up this author's new books because she creates the best thrillers, in my opinion, that are really great, fast paced. You want to read this at night during a storm. And it's The Obsession by Natasha Preston. And I actually already started this book. I'm a little over halfway, which is great. I'm already making headway on this 26 books in 2026. But this one, so it's about this young girl named Connie whose mom vlogs about their everyday life, but doesn't really take any precautions. So her mom takes her sister on a college tour, leaving her home alone. But then she starts freaking out and all these crazy things start happening in the town around her. And everyone's like, no, it's just crazy fans. It's just crazy fans. And I cannot believe I'm already more than halfway through because it's been so fast paced. I've had to stop myself from going farther in the book than I already am because I want to like savor it a little bit. So now for the books that are releasing this year. I have No Matter What by Cara Bastone. Again, I love her writing style and what she puts into her books, and I'm super excited about this one. It releases on March 3rd of this year, so it's coming out kind of soon, actually. Then we have Seek the Traitor's Son by Veronica Roth. I really enjoy Veronica Roth's books. The way that she's able to like create these worlds and give these characters such depth is really great because Divergent, that series found me at like the perfect time in my life. And I think Veronica Roth's books will kind of always have a special place in my heart. So I'm excited to pick up this next book, which comes out in May. I think it's May 12th. And this one follows this girl who has a prophecy about her, which is already pretty interesting to me because I always think the idea of prophecies hit like this spot that like does it end up being a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's this whole theology about prophecies that find very interesting. For the last book in my 26 books in 2026, it's Deadbeat by Leigh Bardugo. I think that's how her name, Leigh. I think that's how it's pronounced. And it comes out September 1st. This is, I think, the last book in her Alex Sterling series. I've read both of the first ones, Ninth House and Hellbent, and those are really interesting. It follows a girl named Alex, and she can see ghosts, and then she's kind of drafted by this group to navigate magic secret societies at this university. And it's super interesting the way that this magic system is and the way the secret societies works. I always think secret societies are really fascinating. It's something that I'm always like drawn to. So it's very dark academia, fantasy world, and I really liked it. I thought in the beginning that it was just going to be the duology, but then I recently found out that this was the third book coming out. I think it might be the last one, but I'm not entirely sure. And those are the 26 books that I have on my radar for 2026. And I do hope that I will at least get through some of them. I'm already getting through one. So I would love to hear what books are on your radar for this year in 2026. So drop those in the comments. Plus, if you have any suggestions for me, I love suggestions and adding more books to my list of books I want to get to. or if you've read any of these books and want to talk about them, try to convince me to pick it up next. Please like and subscribe for future content.